Good evening, folks. We are back on more Dark Tide. Joint Price, it's the casting team. So, starting, let's start with Amy. And to celebrate National Take Your Parents to the Playground Day, what piece of the playground do you think your parents would enjoy the most?
I am 35 years old.
Yes! Take them to the playground!
Imagination.
God. Hello, I'm Amy. I play Ruth Yosef. He is our Dalish elf and our healer. I don't know. So I'm gonna say... Oh God. Piece of apparatus. Zip line. There we go.
The most dangerous of all playground things.
Yes. Most fun thing, as far as I'm concerned.
I see, okay. Then we have Eden.
Hello, I'm Eden. My character is Wraith, who is a Teventa mage. He's a mortician and a healer of sorts, although he's not really had much call to do that because Ruth is around. He deals in fire and ice. Last time he got a nice powerful staff to enhance those abilities. And what do I think my mum would enjoy at the playground? A bench to sit on and watch the kids play.
That works!
Any of the other equipment, I think. She's 60 something, so I don't think she's going to be up for the roundabout or the swing. Maybe a swing. I don't know.
Alright, okay. Then we have top left one.
Hello, I'm Rowan. I am playing Juniper, who is a small cat creature thing that we have just invented, basically, so I can play as my cat. She steals things, has very limited vocabulary in general, chaos, surprisingly effective in a fight, nicks a lot of things. And, oh my god, it's just the image of taking my parents to a playground. My mum would resist going in every possible format available to her. Again, she's in her 60s and very Irish and very much not someone who likes loud noises or going outside when it's not a pub. So probably the pub across the road from the playground. My dad, however, would fucking love the roundabout. He is a child. He is a Labrador. I can imagine him on the swings as well, just having a laugh. Yeah.
Alright, then we have far left, the Tom. Actually, it's come Tom last still because you're still working on things.
Yeah.
Alright,
yeah.
next to me then, Mr. Shiraz.
Hello, I'm Shiraz. I play Vincenzo Cabash, a somewhat lost writer on his way to fame and freedom, but took a little sidetrack to the war business. I think like my dad, I have a great memory of my dad like forcing me to push him on the swings when he was like very large and I was very tiny, and that has always been like my thing. So I think my dad would love going to the park to try the swings out, and my mom would just shake her head disapprovingly from the side as she usually did. So that's my thing.
Similar to mine then.
Yeah, very much so. Which is why I was furiously shaking, nodding in agreement when we were talking about it.
Everyone loves the swing, they just do.
Everyone.
Alright.
Again, it's just the image of trying to get my mum to go out and do anything that isn't, like cleaning or playing with her pet cat or sitting in front of the TV, bored as hell, drinking a bottle of wine. Like, I can't picture her outside of those three situations. And it's a little hard, a bit traumatic to think of her actually doing anything strange,
Alright, well, the time has come to debut Tom's new character.
My character is a dwarf who is a tinkerer and pencil. Hang on.
A pencil?
Pen will do. Tinkerer, they have an axe, as many dwarfs do, And their name is
That's his name?
His name is ancient dwarven name of
From the noble house of
Chat suggested Dave Featherbeard.
That's a good one.
Oh, klepto.
Gil,
He
Do
can
one
draw.
of those exercises.
He can draw
What
hearts now.
was the last thing you've eaten?
Gemly
Gemly leg.
no, Gemly
Give me your leg.
Gemly rock fist.
Gemly Rockfist.
There we go. Oh, bloody hell.
Naming is the hardest part of it.
It is, it really is. I still need to pick 3 skills.
I mean.
Can I just not add just an extra point to some of the other skills?
Mm,
I don't see him doing much
I
magic.
mean, it's not. I mean, it's horrible distress, Tom. It's not as if he's had a week to do this.
Yeah.
Go
I
on,
mean,
get on with it.
you can hold on to those skills and maybe just fill it out when you need it.
Yeah, that's better.
All right. So while Tom furiously does that, what happened last week?
Yeah, as I've heard.
We were told to go and collect somebody for a meeting from a lighthouse, and that they'd kind of not responded to any missives or anything that had been sent in their direction. So there were some questions about what was going on. As a group, we kind of all sauntered off down there, like without too much fuss. Got to the place, and it was quite deserted. Went around some of the outbuildings after knocking on the door and not really getting any response, and found some more fabricant who were kind of... Well, one fabricant in particular who was hanging out in the barn. Was that the first one?
It was
one
either the barn or the
outside.
stable. I can't remember.
Yeah. And it was hard to tell if they'd kind of been forced to be there. Like, they'd given indication in the way that they were talking that they'd been turned into a fabricant. And
Yeah.
that the Lord of the Manor or whatever had some means of doing this. So we ended up going inside the building after testing the door, and it was kind of desolate to begin with. It looked like the area hadn't really been used much. Through some slightly stealthy moves, we went up the stairs and kind of looked around the first floor a bit. It was kind of, again, a bit desolate, but there were indications of, like, somebody in a fit of rage had destroyed a bunch of stuff. We sent Juniper on ahead up the stairs to kind of be stealthy. I say
I think
kind
I
of because it was
nearly
kind
killed
of...
a man in the process. And that I did actually kind of kill a man, or at least I instigated the accident that
You-
led to the man dying. And
I mean, if
and
they're
everything.
dead, you never get disturbed. So, like,
You went upstairs and he told you to leave, and then you stole his staff and ran back to lift with it. Then he chased you. You gave it to Wraith. Wraith then put up a wall of ice on the stairs, and then we were all like, right, we need to get out of here now.
I think I was begging you
Jose-
for more knives.
Yes,
point.
Jose then insulted the guy.
I did not.
You did.
I insulted him after he liquidized my arm. There's a slight difference.
No,
I yelled up,
you yelled
special
up.
delivery,
Yes,
and
you yelled
then
at that,
he
yeah.
zapped me with lightning, and
Yeah.
then I was rude because I had just lost an arm. Well, not lost it, but it
Where
was
was
on
it?
the way out.
You had lost it. You had lost it.
It was on the way
That was
out,
no
you
longer
know?
an arm.
So, and then Jose, then he refused medical treatment from Ruth.
Yeah, I waved
He
you
was gonna,
away. I was like,
he was
no,
gonna
no, no.
chop off his arm to like try and save him, and then the guy, the mage, broke the ice barrier. Ruth then threw his cleaver that he had just found into the mage's chest. Juniper then threw her knife which clipped his ear and threw him off balance. So he fell down the stairs. We all got out of the way, but poor Jose.
You say
was
poor
decapitated.
Jose.
Yeah, I say poor.
Don't call him that. He's just Jose. Maybe.
Poor now, he's dead. We stole all his stuff.
We don't talk ill of the dead.
Dead
even
man
though-
is falling into the
Even
room.
him.
You know, you get like Wraith and Reef hop into the side. Juniper does like a zoom and latches onto the fucking ceiling.
Yep.
You know,
And
then
Jose is
just
decapitated.
Yeah.
It's just like, I got it.
If this was a police report, like you guys would be completely exonerated of any crime.
Yeah.
Just pin it all on Jose, you know?
Yeah.
The way you're describing it reminds me. Do you remember that the old Specsavers of the cannonball rolling down the hill and it goes up and the guy jumps to try and head of it and it just cuts to black and says,
Should have gone to Specsavers.
yeah, I should have got to Specsavers. I just like, oh.
There was one like that where a guy like cut the fur off his dog thinking
Yes.
it was a sheep. Like,
Oh yeah, the old shepherd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was quite
So-
haunting in many ways. Anyway,
was.
sorry, get back to it.
So Jose is unfortunately dead. We looted his corpse, and then we instructed the fabricant to get rid of the bodies, which they promptly cremated in a pyre. And then we met Yevon at the gate, where we discovered all the mail because the mage had told the fabricant not to deliver any mail, because that's how they turned into a fabricant. They had opened up a package that had been sent to them, and it was a pink gem, and they accidentally touched it, and it turned them all into fabricant. That was how they turned it. That's how they were turned.
As a
And-
person who wasn't there last week, you guys went to summon somebody, right? To like get.
Yeah, all we were supposed to do was to say you've been invited to a meeting, and then that was it. That was
Yeah.
all we were supposed to do, and we ended up murdering a guy, robbing his entire house, and
happens.
also losing one of our own. But we also got all his stuff. So
I'm
In
getting
fairness,
I'm getting
he
upset.
seemed like he lost his shit.
sorry.
That's why I didn't go.
In fairness, it seemed like he'd lost his shit a little bit, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wasn't really all there anymore. So
He was mistreating the fabricant horribly as well. Like some of them were burned, and there was a poor one that was all like his stuffing internally was all
The
like
one I
soot, and he
nearly
was coughing
killed.
all the time. Yes, you nearly killed that one.
Something moved behind me and just instantly just. A Juniper response. Throw knives,
yeah.
ask questions later.
That's the point. Has Shiraz met the fabricant yet?
Yes.
I've met the boss and the little guy.
Ah,
but
that's
I've not
fine,
met
yeah,
the
that's fine.
fabricants. I still have to post that picture. I will post it.
All right. Well, we should continue from there. Following a day to grieve after the death of Jose, which all of you spent just having a day off, not really bothered, you report
Is he
back
alive?
to Yevon, and as you turn up, he goes, "Right, we've got a couple more things for the big business, as it were. But I want you to investigate something. There's been a lot of arson in the city, and we've caught this person who we think might be the main arsonist, but they're not talking. So I need you to go down to the sort of wee local sort of jail cell thing and talk to them, get an answer out of them whatever way you can, find out what's going on."
Arson?
Aye.
Oh wait, I'm not here yet, am I?
No, you're not.
No,
there
you're
yet.
not.
The only
Am I
Arson I
to
know of.
understand that you're allowing us? You want us to torture this poor man?
I think
I think you're putting words in my mouth. I never
I
said
think he,
torture them. I said get answers.
yeah, I think he means interrogate, not. You know.
Okay, that's all
Can you
right.
put the cleaver away, please?
Cleaver.
Juniper puts away the knife that she'd begun like taking out ready.
No.
Wraith looks around the group, cocked eyebrow. Yes, I suspect a conversation may be the route forward on this one. We've certainly acted first and thought later on the last couple of instances that we've got out on.
I mean, I'm sorry, but you hear dungeon and then you hear we're going to talk to him. To me, that doesn't sound like it's going to be a friendly conversation.
Oh,
Vincenzo perks up and goes, "Are we good warden, bad warden?"
I tried to tread a line.
also while you're there's a new recruit I want to pick up. He's also in one of the cells.
Oh, and what did he do to end up there?
Let's not talk about that. Let's just say he's one of your new Grey Warden friends.
What's he look like?
He's a dwarf. He's got one of those stalwart dwarven names that makes you feel right here.
Is it Dave Featherbeard? I know a Dave Featherbeard.
Oh, I don't think any dwarf has had the wonders of being called Dave Featherbeard. I dream of meeting a Dave Featherbeard. That would be a wonderful day for any dwarf.
Next character.
Right. Shall we?
Yeah.
The mythical stories of Dave Featherbeard travel long and wide.
Another game we had where there was a book of dwarven erotica written by a famous dwarven author, so I'm guessing Dave Featherbeard is going to be somewhat in the same lines. Other than why do you think this guy burnt up stuff? Like, was he caught in the scene of the crime or something?
Well, every time there's a fire, he seems to just be sort of found sitting there. So we've taken him in for questioning.
Okay. Seems simple enough to me. Let's go. What's the worst that could happen?
He could burn us alive.
Probably not a good question to ask. He might give us ideas.
He could be.
I have a good feeling about it.
I'm glad someone has to have good feelings about it.
I'm going to start skipping along towards the barracks, humming away. Up I go.
Is the humming like meowing?
Yes.
So
So it's like that's the music of meow, 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 meow.
little trills like.
I will follow.
Alright. So you head off towards the barracks. As you arrive in the barracks, you see a very stern-looking commander there, who looks you all up and down and goes, "Right, so let's give him a voice we could do. Right, why are you all here?"
Captain
There's a
Yevon.
What?
Captain Yevon, short guy.
Oh, right. From him. Okay. He sort of ruffles some papers around and he goes, is this about the erotic graffitist Dave Featherbeard?
No, we're here to inquire about a dwarf captive that you have who's about to be released into our custody, and well, there's somebody here, an arsonist, we're told.
Oh, right, so not Dave Featherbeard. Okay.
Alleged.
Yes,
Right. He takes you down a corridor amongst a lot of cells with people looking quite starved and hungry. Eventually gets to the end and you see... I'll let Tom describe his character. What's your character look like, Tom?
Am I the arsonist or am I...
You're the new recruit.
The recruit, okay. You see in front of you a dwarf who looks dwarven, which usually means big beard, and short than a human or elf, and looks like you could probably hit him and you wouldn't really notice it. He's tough, he's rough, and he's something else that rhymes with him.
Does he have a beard?
He does. It's sort of bunched up and tied off to one side. Reason being, number of times he's got it caught in gears, mechanisms he's working in, and that hurts, Oof. No more. So
all the bearded people just went.
bunched up and put to one side. Just, he'll let it free on special occasions, but for most days, it's just bundled up.
I'm imagining
like a
like
scarf.
the 2 braids, but like coiled up, like what you do at the back of your head, but it's just under a
It's
skin.
Princess Leia, but here.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, on the mirror. Okay.
Sort of leather and steel armor and an axe.
Would you have an axe inside the cell? I'm assuming Luke got you.
assuming-
Wait, am I the
hanging up
arsonist
somewhere.
or am I the new recruit?
You're the new recruit.
You're the new recruit.
I'm not in a cell, am I?
Yes.
No. Yes, you are on the cell.
Oh no.
Balls. Okay, I don't have the axe. I've got a receipt for it though, so I can pick it up on the way out. In theory.
You hope.
In theory.
Oh,
That was my granddad's axe, that were.
No,
I ain't
we
leaving that
probably
behind.
Picked up your stuff. We picked up your
Yeah.
stuff probably from the jailer, I guess.
Probably hand it to him and the on the way out kind of thing.
Yeah. So, if the cell is open, I'll walk in. I'll introduce myself as flamboyantly as possible, and I'll very, very briefly go like, "That's Ruth, that's Wraith, and that's Judah, and you're with us now."
Okay, sure, why not?
Because we do warden business, and
Alright.
and here's your stuff, and I give him my stuff.
Ah, my granddad's axe. Oh.
Just out of curiosity, like, what are you in for?
Dunno, really.
Why did
They
they
just-
put you in?
They didn't say. They said, you're nicked, chum. And I said, what for? They said, just come with us, stop making trouble.
Turning to the jailer,
Luckily-
oh, sorry.
Luckily, I've still got me emergency jerky.
Ciao. I looked at Wraith.
Wraith looks over at the jailer and says, what did this man do? Has he simply been put in here to wait for us?
He sort of shuffles through some papers and he takes out and he looks at the paper and goes, "Ah!" Folds it again, puts it away.
That's rather
I'm sure.
disconcerting. And he looks
Sure,
at
it's all fine. And I clap him on the clap Rockfist. Yes, Rockfist on the shoulder and be like, "You'll fit right in. We got some business in that way." And I
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Right, so
I
you.
got my axe. That's all that matters to me. With an axe and some fire, I can make some tools, and with some tools and some fire, I can make a forge, and with a forge, I can make anything.
Are you still holding the jerky in your hand?
No, I put it back in my pocket. I'm still chewing the jerky that's in my mouth. It's approximately the consistency of... Well, it's dry like plasterboard, but it's hard. So it's more like concrete, actually. It's like so it's, it really takes some chewing. But luckily,
If you
teeth.
made rock jerky,
it's like is it Werther's original pork flavor?
there's original rock variant.
Come on.
the taste of gravel.
You look down to see a small cat thing sniffing into your pocket, trying to like get her head in, but nothing else, just her head.
Bonking.
It's like when you get a tall glass of water, the cat just squishes their head down, except it's like a cat person doing the same thing.
What is?
I want!
Alright, so as you collect Rockfist, the warden comes back over and goes, "Right, well, let's go speak to this arsonist then." And he walks down and he goes, you follow him down a set of stairs into the sort of darker, danker regions of the jail. At the end there's a door, looks at itself, it looks very securely fastened with several large bolts. And he starts undoing them and goes, "Well, just bang on the door violently if you need to let you back out." And he opens the door. Inside, it's very, very dark inside. You wanted to take a torch in with you?
Yeah.
Do we want to with an arsonist?
It's fine. I've got dark vision. I'll let you know what's going on.
Because we
It
can
should be
cast
fine.
light.
He's-
We can cast light on anything. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Wraith casts light on the end of his staff and kind of points it into the door and says, if you don't mind, I will attempt to speak to this man first. I've a certain amount of etiquette and training in such things, if you would allow it.
Okay.
I guess.
Go with it, mate.
Thank you very much. And he
so-
steps forward. And good day to you, sir. And what is he
Hi.
meant by what's the state of this man?
He
What does
just-
he look like?
He looks like an elf. He just sits and looks up at you and goes, "Hi."
Good day. I have some questions for you about the reason for your captivity. We have reason to believe that you're an arsonist. You've been caught at the scene of multiple cases of arson, and well, what do you have to say for yourself?
I just like fire.
And then he looks back towards the rest of the group. It seems like an open and shut case. So it's fair to say that you set those fires then, yes?
No. I just like to sit and watch the fire.
So who did set the fires?
Does it really matter?
Yes. That is the purpose of this visit. We shan't be leaving until we have information on that front. It sounds like you've certainly witnessed something.
Company would be a great thing. I haven't had people for a while.
Well, I suppose this is something of a social visit. Trying to think of the right way to sort of approach this and press the issue.
Does he look hungry?
He looks quite thin. He's got a very
I will
vacant look in his eyes.
I have
Ruth's
some
gonna-
cheese left over from the last time we raided a kitchen that was a dog's.
Ruth's gonna pull out an apple from his stash.
Yeah. I will offer the cheese as well, so like his hands are full of cheese and apple.
Okay.
Do we know about these fires since we've been in town? Like, has it like kind of been on the?
You've noticed a
grapevine?
couple of sort of smoke, like you've noticed smoke basically all around the town, but you didn't know whether it was just something burning or some just chimneys or what. So
We were involved in one of those things, so we know that like tangentially the burn of one thing for saying.
Yeah.
But apart from that, they've been like, there've been alarms every night of somebody setting stuff on fire.
you probably would have noticed that there's been a couple of. You've noticed sort of more hubbub around the sort of town itself. Like there's been some kind of commotion, but again, it could just be a port city. It could just be something happening. So yeah.
What's your name? After giving him the cheese.
I am Kenneth.
Yeah.
Rings a bell.
Kenneth?
Why does it ring a bell? Or was that? Or am I just ringing bells of that don't make any sense? Anyone remember a Kenneth? No.
Not
Something
offhand.
different. Why am I thinking about Kenneth?
As
Oh,
he
well.
as he moves to eat, you see his hair swish out the way, and you notice he has quite a large brand in the middle of his forehead.
Is it anything recognizable?
Is it a
Um,
tranquil symbol?
It has a tranquil symbol.
Ooh.
What's a tranquil symbol?
Tranquil are mages who have been cut off from the Fade, so they basically become almost like like I think the closest thing would be
Emotionless,
like
wasn't it?
emotionless. It basically cuts off their magic, but they become
I remember
really
you
good
talking about this.
enchanters.
Was it like one of the first few episodes you mentioned it?
Yeah.
And
It's like that Wheel of Time thing. They're gentle. Or whatever. They call it.
Tried. Yeah, they're kind of like Vulcans in a way. They're completely emotionless and logical. But they're very good at like enchanting weapons and like creating enchantments for like your armor and stuff.
Yeah, they can work with lyrium because of being
Yeah.
cut off.
Yeah.
So
They'll always usually answer truthfully, but in a roundabout way. So sometimes they can like deceive by
yeah,
like
but they
not.
have to be like in the region of truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't tend to have their own
Lying by
motivation,
omission?
really.
Yeah. They have no real motivation, unless like just to live kind of thing. They just. It's a good thing.
Okay. So I would ask kind of like if he saw anyone before the fire was set. Like he likes to sit and watch fires. Like did anyone else help you out, or was anyone else near the fires when you were there?
I only care about the fire. It is very pretty to watch. There's not much to live for, you know. When you get past it, when you realize everything is a facade.
I like pretty things. I'm going to start waving my really nice sharp knife around.
He just looks at you very blankly and he goes, "That looks a very sharp knife."
Good for stabbing!
Yes, I imagine so.
Just going to start running around waving a knife.
Oh God.
I'm just going like.
Making my own fun. This conversation is boring. I am a child.
Just dragging it across the like stones. Just
Dragging it across the stones, stabbing it at random cobwebs, you know, having some fun.
At this point, you hear all the bolts go from the door behind, and someone going, "Nope, nope, 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 nope."
I look at him as sternly as I can in the eye, and I'm like, you don't tell him that. Like, that word is bad. It's fine. Nothing bad, right? Cool.
Telling Juniper no is a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And push him out of the way and like kind of close the door again before Juniper stabs him to death. Out of his own, for his own safety. No.
She hasn't noticed. She's still running around.
Yeah.
At this point, Kenneth looks at Ruth just dead in the eyes and goes, "If you're going to kill me, at least let me see the fire as I die."
Firstly, we're not here to kill you. Secondly,
That is a shame.
I'm not sure that dying by fire is how you want to go. But if you could tell us if you noticed anything out of the ordinary before the fire, that would be helpful.
What would you describe as out of the ordinary?
Well, something that you found odd, maybe.
That you
Someone
are
else
a
trying to set
apostate and you
fire.
are not in the same condition I am. That is odd.
Well, I'm very good at hiding, so.
I see.
But
How did you escape from your captivity, Kenneth?
I am of no threat to anyone now. He just gently points to his symbol on his head and then goes, "They have no fun with me anymore. They let me go."
Looking to Ruth, Wraith says, "Is this typical circle behavior?"
I don't know. I've never. Usually the tranquil are kept for enchantments, but they can be released, I suppose. Depends on which circle they were into and how strict it was. I was only there for a short time before escaping.
I draw the others into a huddle and I go like, maybe we should find out more about these arson cases before we go ahead and interrogate this guy. Because clearly, that is insane. And I feel like we just keep going around in circles.
Yes, there may have been other eyewitnesses on the scene that may have witnessed his arrival and things occurring beforehand. Yes, perhaps we should go and check a few of these scenes out.
Well, maybe we should ask him if he'd noticed anyone he knew first, if there were multiple scenes.
Let's do that. And I step back and let the questioning continue.
Well, Kenneth, as much as you're fascinated by the fire, we do need to know why these things have occurred. There must have been some prelude to this, and while I appreciate that you're not interested in particularly telling us, we do need this information. And he kind of points a bony finger towards him and says, you won't be getting out of this room unless you speak.
But what is life? What is life outside of the room that cannot be replicated within?
Well, you shan't be able to roam and find new fires to witness if you stay in here forever. I certainly won't be, and he pops a little fireball into his hand. I certainly won't be facilitating you. And he pops it back out
As
again.
soon as you put the fire in his hand, he just stares mesmerised at the fire. This is the only bit of any kind of reaction you're getting out of him at all. His mouth just drops open a little bit, and then as soon as the fire goes away again, he just shuts his mouth again and looks back up to you and goes, "You are the keeper. I must follow you."
The keeper? Who is this keeper? I'm not... I've never met you before. Who is this keeper you speak of?
He who creates fire. That is you. I must follow you.
Well, there are many of us that can generate such powers, but... And he kind of looks to the rest of the group. Do you think it would be a good idea to bring him along?
I mean, he's a tranquil. That he's not going to run.
Yeah, we could convince the jailer just to make it a wish.
I'm sure if we have him like maybe shackled, at least.
He'd probably die.
Probably, more than likely.
They seem to all the time.
Well, we'll try
Just
our
gonna look at Juniper and be like, "How would you know?"
I should
Every
think that
time.
we should keep him from
Last
danger.
few weeks. People die.
She has a point.
I
She's just looking up at you like complete innocence.
I can't argue with that.
I can't argue, but Ruth is very concerned. And he's just gonna look at Vincenzo's like, "How are you raising this thing?"
I am not raising this thing. It has chosen me for some reason. It's like...
Yes, and I thought you were its guardian.
Do you think I have any control over her? And then he just kind of looks at Juniper and goes like, "Do you have control over you? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" It's like...
Sometimes.
That's the
Okay,
idea of
so
Juniper just grinning back and going, "Knife!"
It's like, I have a knife.
No, she's just gonna come over and start like tugging your hand again, like come.
Yeah, okay. I'll open the door and go talk to the jailer and just basically tell him that we need to take this man on a walkabout just to see if he...
But
Just to see if he's ready.
but he's dangerous. Look at him. He's dangerous.
We are gonna take care. We will return him in mostly in one piece.
Ruffles through his pockets and pulls out a piece of paper, and he flips it over and puts down. Right here, sign this so I can hand him over to the wardens. He can be the warden's problem.
Read it first.
Yeah, can I read it? Can I read it? I'm gonna read it.
It's just a blank piece of
in
paper.
the corner.
Just a blank piece of paper.
I'll fill the rest in later.
This is not a contract.
Yeah,
Let me
well,
write
I
one
just
for
need
you.
your signature. I'll fill the rest in later.
No.
Let me write one for you, and I will use literacy to write an airtight contract. upon which, like, we are free of any indemnity in case of, like, it's full of, like, legalese and stuff.
I see.
how well-
Do a literacy roll. Let's see where this goes.
Okay.
It's full of clauses like, if the prisoner dies, we are not to be held accountable.
The 14.
Yep,
It's a decent enough
you
contract.
write a lot of legalese, and you notice that the warden, when you hand it back to him, gets about 3 lines into it, then goes, "Oh, no, I'm not going to read this. It'll be fine. It'll be fine."
Okay, and then I sign it, but like with Captain Yevon's name.
I see. Okay. All right. So you sign it. He crumpily goes back upstairs and he hands you a bag of very strange smelling things. And as you look in, it looks full of chemicals. And he says, "It was with him when he arrived."
I know a bit of alchemy,
Mm-hmm.
and would I be able to roll something to figure out if this is like basically a bag full of accelerants, or if it's like just random shit?
Yeah. Do a alchemy roll.
Okay.
Unnatural 20, yeah. Basically, what you find is several jars and bottles of... It is chemicals, but it looks like chemicals that just change the colour of the flame rather than doing anything else.
Okay, so they're not like... They don't actually explode or set things on fire. I will leave it... I'll say, can you just hold on to this? We just want to take the prisoner out for a walk. We're not taking...
he takes the contract that you wrote and he looks through it and he goes... does this bit here not mean you take all of his things?
If you see, there's a clause there that says that like we're just taking him for a walkabout, and eventually, if he's innocent, we either set him free or return him to you without any harm. And I point out like various things to him, which are like fine print and stuff.
Oh God, I didn't see that bit. Sure.
Just I'm gonna keep the stuff here, and then I basically go back and tell everybody, yeah, we can take him up. He has to be staying. Yeah.
I'd imagine so. I wouldn't want us to go out with him unbound.
I look at Mr. Rockfist. He looks strong. Mr. Rockfist, who's the one?
Mr. Rockfist?
Monsieur Tom?
Hello?
He hasn't got used to it.
He hasn't got used to it.
You haven't got used to it yet, have you?
But like, Rockfist is like super strong, right?
I'm pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah, so I go over to Mr. Rockfist and go to Mr. Rockfist and say, Mr. Rockfist, if you wouldn't mind holding on to the prisoner's chains so that they don't run away.
As you put him in chains, he goes, "These are very noisy."
Yeah, they are. It's because they made of metal, mate. I'm going to jingle them a bit.
Jingle.
That is a very disruptive noise.
Oh, that's alright. I won't do it too much.
I look to Wraith and Ruth and go like, you want to tell him what's going on, or should I?
Well, I'm not sure that he's even bothered about what the context of all of this is, and he pops a little fireball into his hand to try and transfix him again. And says, I suspect if we simply lead with this, then he will follow. And Wraith takes a few steps out of the room, kind of holding it up in a way where it's very obvious, like, does he try and attempt to follow out of the room?
Yeah, he just follows you normally, just transfixed by the fire.
I'll be walking alongside him with a chain.
So Wraith leads the way.
As you do that, you hear the distant shout of fire! And then someone comes running along, and if 10 seconds later you feel yourself getting wet as someone throws a bucket of water over you.
Oh, you fool! I was completely in control of this flame. Oh. Can he try to reignite, or is a wet hand enough to like fizzle this?
You can try and reignite one. As you try and reignite, you hear in the background, "Good job, Jenkins. Don't want any fires here."
Oh, you fools! Have you never met a mage before? And he sparks it back up in his hand.
Ruth's quietly hoping that they have another bucket.
I walk up to Jenkins and I flash my writing book at him. And like, "Hi, Jenkins, official warden business. You have to come with us."
What? And he holds this dripping bucket in his hand, going, "What?"
I take the bucket from him and put it down. Do you know where all the other fires happen?
He sort of, actually, hang on, let's do a roll, see what he does. Natural 20. He looks down, confused at you, looks down, looks up at Wraith, sparking, sees the fire, his eyes grow wide, he grabs the bucket, runs out the room, and a couple of seconds later runs back with another bucket, throwing it over Wraith a second time.
Oh, you fool! Wraith is soaked to the bone at this point and is shaking his arms, trying to get some of it away from him. Oh, you idiot! This man is transformed by the flame, it's a tool!
I grab Jenkins by the collar and whisper to him, "They've killed people for us."
Ruth's in pieces laughing, but he's also looking around for a candle.
Just like, do you know? I'm shaking Jenkins. Do you know where the fires were?
So where were the fires? What? two on Globe Street and one on St Albans.
Good. And I kind of push him ahead of me and go like, "You're taking a step," and this kind of take Jenkins along.
I gotta go outside. This is great.
We leave the bucket behind. Hopefully.
Okay. So your small troop leave and go along the road. Eventually you come to the end and you see two houses that have been fully burnt down next to each other.
As we've walked along, Race has cast heat on his robes to evaporate as much water and dry himself out, and is just grumbling the whole way. Idiots, God! These robes are worth more than his year of his wages. Fool!
Alright.
Ruth is having such a good day.
Juniper has gotten bored and has wandered off into the locations of fire, basically, all the burnt houses, and is busy, like, rooting through the rubble now.
Okay. So you...
I'm still holding the chains of our weirdo.
He sort of, as you walk up, you look at the two. One is like a sort of basic framework that seems to still be there, but it's very, very charred, and the other one is completely burnt down. As you get there, you go, yeah, this is everything. Yep. No fire. Nope. Put fire out. Fire bad. Yep.
Does our friend have any like visible reaction to coming back to this place?
The Tranquil looks at it and goes, the blackness comes for all of us. He sort of looks down and he runs his finger along some of the char, and he looks at his finger, and his finger is pitch black with soot, and he goes, the darkness comes.
What do you think caused this fire, Kenneth?
What do you mean? What caused the fire? Fires happen. We must observe them.
Yeah, but there's many ways. As a person who likes fires, you should know that.
Sort of. He looks at all of you.
him.
He looks at all of you one at a time and goes, "Do you have my bag? I can make the fire more attractive."
I explained to everyone that the bag was just full of things that make it different colors and not actually set things on fire.
Well, I'm gonna be interested in that. I've got a minor in alchemy, so I'm slightly interested. Like, oh, coloured flames, fancy.
Magnesium oxide, I think, is one of them, or magnesium something.
Is it copper sulfate as well?
Copper sulfate's the blue stuff, isn't it?
That's copper chloride, isn't it? I can't remember.
Something like that.
It's been many years. It's been many
It's been
years.
a long time since I done any chemistry.
10 years for me? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
20.
Can I roll foraging to see if I find anything rooting around?
Yep. Does Juniper have anything in alchemy just out of interest first?
Probably not. No. No, definitely not.
That's fine. Just do me an awareness roll. See what you find.
Okay. 3. Five.
Juniper pulls one of the sort of large boards off and finds the charred remains of what looks like some sort of animal, and gets quite content to just sit and sort of chew away at the charred bits.
Oh yeah. Making some horrible.
The charred bits. Jesus.
You know.
I do a cursory look to see if the animal, like what she's doing, and then go, and it's like,
You
don't
go.
want to bother with that.
You go over and you sort of look at what Juniper's eating. After a while of Juniper sort of crunching bits, you notice in the charred remains a sort of charred collar. So it must have been some kind of dog or something.
I reach out for it as slowly as possible so as not to alarm Juniper, because we know now that sudden movements are often lethal. So I get the collar out, and what does it look like? Does it have a
It's a
name?
dog collar, and as you look around, it has the word Sally engraved on it.
Okay. Can I
start
tell-
pulling to get the thing back. You know.
Can I do an alchemy roll to see, like, if I can figure out what caused the fire? Like, obviously how it reacted with the metal.
Yep. Roll the alchemy. Yep, you find there's definite scorch marks and thing, and as you sort of run your finger sort of around, you do find in your finger sort of trace of slight oil. So it looks like it was some kind of chemical fire rather than a magical fire.
So I point out to the rest of the people, it's like, it doesn't look like a mage, not a magical fire. Someone definitely like put some thought to this, some oil to this.
Wow, that's
You said there were 2 houses.
Yes, 2 houses next to each other.
Did they
Looks like
just look like one caught fire, the other one?
They're about 2-3 meters apart, so it looks like if one caught fire, it'd be quite strange that the other one would catch fire, but because it's not close enough to immediately catch, but maybe something fell over or something that caused it, but there's no obvious like debris that have crossed over, if you know what I mean.
What do you guys think? I think you're muted, Wraith. Eden, you're muted.
You're muted, yes. Still muted.
Nope.
You're muted.
It's not working.
Oh,
It's
it's
gremlins.
Gremlins, they're
Gremlins.
back.
Microphone problems. This
There we go.
thing's
There we go.
slowly
You're back.
dying on me. Apologies. Are there any other properties nearby that kind of overlook this area?
There's basically just a row of houses, so yeah.
Okay. While they're off observing then, Wraith looks around at the other properties. Is there a sign of life in any of those? Is there any indication of occupancy?
They're cheap housing. They're mostly full of people. So about maybe 6, 7, 8 people in a house.
Okay. Turning to Rockfist, who's looking after the prisoner, Wraith says, I'm going to go and inquire with the locals to see if anybody witnessed anything.
At this point, Kenneth just sort of stares into space and goes, "When I was a child, I loved the fire. It kept me in good company when everyone else left."
Well, the fire is a poor companion as an adult, as you may have learned. But, yes. I'm a little concerned that he's going to make a run if he catches a glimpse of a flame, so keep a tight hold on that chain there. With that, Wraith strides off towards one of the properties, the closest one that would have had a window looking out towards where the building's burnt.
Okay.
And he gives a bony rap on the door.
You rap on the door. Immediately, it's answered by a very bedraggled-looking woman. Goes, "What?"
Excuse me for interrupting your day, madam. I'm inquiring regarding the fire across the street there.
5
Did you
copper.
happen to see anything? Sorry?
5 copper. You can go upstairs.
I have no need to go upstairs. I'm simply curious about this fire.
She's
Why,
good.
what's the-
She does anything you want. 5 copper. That's it. Otherwise, go away.
Oh, no, you've misunderstood me entirely. Although... well, you've not had talk of a fire within here. Surely you witnessed something. I would have... Is it a
Fire costs more. Do you want that candle play? It's the thing you're getting to be doing, it. He looks up and down.
Wraith is
gonna-
very flustered.
I'm gonna shove Wraith out of the way, dragging, what's his face?
What's he doing back here? And she points at Kenneth. You didn't pay last time.
I'm gonna look at Kenneth and raise an eyebrow.
You know
Why?
this man?
I have no interest in the flesh of your daughter. Yes, you do. You're upstairs.
We want to know about the fire that happened over the road. Talk, and maybe we'll hand him over to you.
I don't want him. Just want money off him. Where's his money? She starts like checking them for money on the side. Goes,
I'm gonna smack her hands aside before she
get
gets
off me.
You can have him and his money after you've talked.
We can't actually hand him over.
She,
Shut up.
She goes
But we
behind
don't
the
know
door
that.
and pulls out quite a large club. She goes, "Give it here. I want my money.
I'm gonna,
No one walks
I'm
out
gonna
of my
toss-
daughter."
I'm gonna toss the chains to Kabaj and draw out my axe and say, "We're Grey Wardens. You want to try?"
You what?
I'm gonna smack the axe into the door frame and say, "I said, do you want to try?"
What have you done to my door?
Yeah, I thought so.
I peek out from behind and go like, just let us go upstairs.
He just got out of prison today. I wouldn't test his temper.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Wow.
And I put the axe back on my back with some sidelong looks at you gits.
I hand you back the chains as gingerly as possible. So
I'm gonna snatch them from your hands. Like.
Okay,
I like this dwarf. I'm going to stand behind him from now on.
at this point, Kenneth just sort of looks the woman dead in the eye and goes, "I was no interest in your daughter. I just wanted a better look."
Oh, is that what you were doing? Jesus.
Did you see anything interesting from there?
I saw the fire. The Maker's
Besides
Flame.
the fire. The Maker's.
Was the daughter there in the room while this?
Oh, she was there. Nice and, in a good angle. You didn't want anything to do with her, did you? You didn't even pay her. Bastard.
Still kind of floundering a little bit and wanting to smooth things over, Wraith kind of hurriedly reaches into his pocket and grabs 5 copper and goes, well, for the sake of simply having a look out of your window, rest assured we won't be doing anything with your daughter. Here is 5 copper, just a... No ill will here. You can put away the bat now.
Snatches the copper off you and goes, "Madge! Got business for you." Just gestures up the stairs.
Up the stairs. He's like together, just like a large group clumping upstairs.
It's just like, I'm gonna stay down here.
Can I nick the hammer on the way up?
Mm-hmm.
The club.
A club, yes, you can nick it. She's put it back behind the door and not noticed this wave of you walk in.
I'll go up with Wraith and obviously Juniper in tow, trying to stuff a large club into the club.
Ruth doesn't go into houses of
She's
death.
kind of wedged it under her armpit like that, like.
I'm gonna stick with our Kenneth outside, holding on to the chains.
Okay.
I think that's a smart move.
So then, heading up the stairs with Kabaj and Juniper, what we met by at the top.
You're met by the several doors. As you get to the top, one provocatively opens to reveal a very, let's just say below average looking female who goes, "Hello there." Which, she curls what little hair she has around one finger. "Which, gentleman or lady is it that's acquired my services?"
I point at Wraith. Without any hesitation, just go.
Rude. That's the sort of thing that Ruth should be doing, not
Yeah.
Kabaj.
Yeah, Ruth doesn't go into whorehouses.
Ruth's been in 2 now.
I also look at Juniper to have backup for the pointing. So. It's just
I'm simply here to talk. I have no need of your services, as it were. The fire across the way, and he kind of steps forwards into the room. What's the state of the room?
The room is very simple. It's just got a large bed. It's got a simple dresser and it's got a large window looking very over onto the house that burnt down.
Trying to do this quickly then, Wraith just goes straight over to the window while saying this. Did you witness this fire? We've a interest in finding out how it started.
Oh, it was wonderful mood lighting, but the gentleman then wasn't interested. I mean, I'm sure I could do better for you.
Well, that's all well and good, and he's peering out of the window. Is there any indication, looking at the wreckage that's out there, of where this may have started?
You look out. There's no real thing at this point. You hear. Is Kenneth there actually, or is Kenneth outside?
He's outside.
He's outside. Okay. At this point, you just sort of see her finally just break thing and go, "Oh, what's so interesting out there? It's just a bunch of dwarves last time I saw it. throwing bombs.
Dwarves with bombs, you say?
Well, bottles with fire in them that just kept burning. It's still dwarven stuff. It's not interesting. Come on, you've paid money. Come on, let's go to bed. Come on.
Oh, no. And he starts backing out of the room, looking back towards the group, frustrated, like, why have you done this to me?
You paid.
I have this idea of come out, closing
Here's
the door
this
behind them.
invitation to bed and jumps onto it to immediately start ripping everything to shreds.
No, and I'm kind of running after her. It's just like, you know, the cradling you do in order to stop the claws from getting everywhere. You just like...
But the claws are still reaching out
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Wriggling
They're all just like rigged.
irritably, you know.
Wraith seizes the opportunity and goes, yes, that's all I needed. Thank you very much. And he quickly strides out of the room, leaving them on the bed, doing what they're doing.
And I don't know if this will be allowed, but I do like the idea of like one claw in a bed sheet, and the bed sheet is just being dragged down.
Yeah,
gonna make, like,
you're leaving and Jennifer
continuous
has like
S.
one claw in it, just...
Yep.
And we run out the door, and as soon as we get to the end, I say, "Oh, thank you very much. My friend is very satisfied. 5 out of 5." And then this guy closes the door.
Okay.
Wraith has headed
5
down
out of 5.
Wraith has headed down the stairs, past the mistress on the way, or the brothel madam, or whatever you want to call it. Oh, thank you very much. That was everything we needed. And he rushes out the door and catches sight of Ruth and Rockfist and says, "It seems the dwarves are responsible for this. I think we should move on, though." And he kind of has this.
In a hurry, are we?
Well, I almost got roped into something rather unpleasant there, I must say, but I think it's best that we leave.
I'm trying to get the bed sheet. I'm trying to get the bed sheet out of the claw.
You
No matter
did
what
pay
you do,
her.
he's still got it latched there.
Well,
The wriggling is too much.
she
You've
took it.
seen her. You've seen her on my fucking
Yeah,
shoulders.
yeah. At some point, I just go, fuck it, I put it down, and she's like,
Yeah, well,
When you put me down, it's just running around trying to detach it from my claw myself, but all I'm doing is running around.
No, what are you saying?
Well, I paid her to look out the window, and he could start stepping back towards the ruined houses and trying to get away from this building. I think we should move on, and, oh, damn, we should have asked where the dwarves went if she saw that. So,
You can always go back. I'm sure she'll be able to tell you.
At this point, Kenneth looks at you and goes, "Oh, those. They went that way." And he points down the street.
awesome.
They're not very interesting, though. They left the fire behind.
well, we should...
Then they should be punished for leaving the fire behind, Kenneth. What do you think?
I like the fire, that's what I think.
I look at Jenkins, and I'll be like, Jenkins, that'll be all. You can return to your post, and then just leave him behind.
But what if there's fire? There's still another house to check out, you know, and what if there's fire? I've got to be here with my trusty bucket.
All right, fine. you can
Jenkins,
come
do you
along.
know anything about the dwarves?
They're short, and they've all got great names.
Quite.
Yeah,
That's not a...
and you don't
I
bet
meant
with them because
specifically-
they swindle you on dice. That's what the
not all
warden told me. You
mystery.
don't play dice with them. No.
Very well, and that's not my experience of dwarves, but never mind. No, I mean these specific dwarves with bombs. That's those ones. Nothing ringing a bell?
Nope.
I suspect not much is ringing in that head of yours, is
I
it?
was going to say that.
Yes.
The only dwarf I know that's not been caught is the elusive Dave Featherbeard, that's it. Dave Firebeard and Featherbeard, the horrible twins that I keep getting mixed up. And for some reason I'm turning into a fabricant.
I like the fact that Jenkins is essentially Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the accent he's kinda got, but that's the one I'm going with.
I'll offer the dog tag to our new friend Brockfist, who is clearly a man of science like myself, and just like kind of go like, can you? I don't know what this oil is. You see this part, like this kind of weird something that could set fire. Like, do you think we could find it anywhere in this town? Is it
Okay.
special? Is it
gonna-
dwarven special? That's what
I'm gonna tap on his shoulder, Kabaji's shoulder, and get out like a few fire making tools. Be like, what this? You want some of these? Always carry them with me.
Is this like something specific that dwarves use?
Nah, it's tinder. There's a flint, a strike. It's just standard stuff.
Are you looking at an alchemy roll? Is that what you're looking
Yeah, yeah. I'm basically trying to figure out if there's some kind of like specific ingredients they needed to make this, but I don't think the dog tag has enough residue left over to like figure out what it actually is.
for? Ruth can have a look. I've got alchemy
Yeah,
as
sure.
well.
Okay.
I mean, this is probably while we're walking towards
Yeah.
the street. Yeah.
Alright. Well, if anyone wants to check, roll alchemy.
17.
Okay, got it. It's a very strange thing. You sort of scrape some of the soot off, and you have a weird desire to sniff it. And as you smell it, it smells strange, like floral, almost alcohol-esque.
Floral alcohol. kind of
Molotov
smell.
cocktail.
Mm.
Gin, probably.
Hints of like juniper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least we know it might not be Kenneth, because clearly our sources tell us that a bunch of dwarves were lobbing bombs at this building.
Perhaps you should inquire with locals along the way to find out if they witnessed these dwarves making their escape.
Yeah, maybe we go a few doors down and see if anyone saw them go past.
I put my hand on Jenkins' shoulder and I go, What was that house before it burnt down, Jenkins?
Those ones? They were, He sort of checks his notes, and it says, House of Ill Repute. Yeah, one of them, whatever that is, yeah. That.
Both of them?
Ah,
Both of them?
He just looks, he swaps one page from the other, the text is exactly the same, and he goes, House of Ill Repute. So yeah, different, totally different. Yep, different, yep.
given that the house across the street is also a house of disrepute, I'm assuming this is the street of disrepute.
He flicks through like 5 pages that all have the exact same text written on them, and he goes, maybe, I don't know. It's too early to say.
Right.
Is there anything that marks these properties so that a potential customer would know to knock on the door? And he looks around at the buildings nearby. Is there any markings or anything on any doors or door frames or anything?
The only thing you notice is all of them seem to have a small lantern next to the door with a heart-shaped bit of glass on the outside of it.
Those lanterns appear to indicate something, some hints.
They're really pretty, aren't they? I like them a lot.
Yes, well, if this is the nature of this area, I shan't be knocking on any more doors myself. Which of you would like to speak with the locals?
I think we get to the end of the road and maybe find a non-lantern.
Okay.
Ruth is very much like, yes,
Yeah,
for Raith's sake.
much
The light
appreciated.
I don't think his pale face can manage much more blushing.
There's only so much blood.
Oh.
Wraith slowly brings his hood up. Yes. He kind of tells into himself a little bit, and they head down the road.
Generating a different kind of heat.
So you get to the end of the street, and as you sort of look around from the house, Jenkins points with a very stubby finger and goes, "There, that one over there." And it looks like a larger one. It looks like not like a church, but that kind of size of a thing. It looks completely burnt down. And he goes, yep, that was it, yep, that was it, yep, totally yep.
Was that also a house of ill repute?
He flicks through again the pages of notes and he goes, nope, that was,
Can I just look at his notes right now and just like
Yes.
immediately, just like while he's looking, just look over?
Yep.
What does it say?
That note seems to say it was a storage house for a sort of trader storage warehouse kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And you notice in the page it also says this was a recent target of a large graffiti on the outside.
Ooh, what was the graffiti?
And the graffiti next to it does say Dave Featherbeard. So you can only guess what it was.
More gang rivalries, that's all we need. Yeah, sure. I look at Juniper and I'm like, Juniper, do you want to take another look inside? Do you want to go find something shiny? Go find something shiny.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And just pelts off into the rubble and begins snooping.
Yep.
It's a good thing that Juniper is like dark fur, because I'm imagining you can't get any more devoid as the void is already is.
Yeah. Fun thing about owning a black cat is sometimes you end up talking to like piles of clothes on the floor, or just
And then it appears behind you and you're like, put you up.
or under my feet, or I'm walking in the room and suddenly I'm on the floor because I fell over the cat again.
So
What do I find?
Jennifer scampers off. Do a roll.
Foraging?
Do roll 3d20, and we'll see
Ooh.
what we find of those three. So I imagine Juniper will probably get distracted easily by shiny things, but we'll see what she finds.
Do I put the 3 before the
Yeah,
d20?
3 before d20 will be fine.
While that's
It's a-
happening, I'd
Alright,
like to
so-
make a sketch of the Dave Featherbeard graffiti, just so we keep a note of it.
You find what looks like a bag of grain, but in the middle of the charred grain, but in the middle of it you find lots and lots of coins. They look like they're Tevinter stamped.
Okay.
The second one you find is a large barrel. In the barrel, surprisingly, it's at the back corner. It seems to have survived by mere chance. And again, you look into it, it contains what looks like some sort of rice or grain. But as you sort of sugar the barrel, it does seem to contain something else. And you knock it over, and inside the middle seems to be some sort of strange artifact of some kind, some sort of bronzed statue of some kind. And then finally, you just find again the sort of crushed remains of what looks like some sort of very cooked rat, and you seem very intrigued by it.
Yum.
Okay, so one thing, I'm going to pick up the rat and bring it over to Cabbage.
I see you found another toy.
And shiny things. And a big
What?
shiny thing.
Ah, okay. Are you showing me all of them?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Excitedly showing you the procure of the day, basically.
I'm kind of looking. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at the rest and just going, "You guys ever seen something like this?" And just the point at the statue. Looks too fancy to be in a
Wraith will
Storage,
recognise it
huh?
as being some kind of Tevinter cult sign, but he doesn't know what it's from. He just knows he's seen it in Tevinter. He's not seen it since he left Tevinter.
It's a familiar design, some sort of idol of worship, a cultish thing. Can you take it off of Cabbage and just give it a once over? Is there a stamp or something, a maker's mark on it anywhere on this thing?
Would there be a study? As you sort of flip it over on the underside, there's a definite brand sort of meshed into the sort of, it seems solid bronze, and there does seem to be a small, like, it's a distinct mark in the bottom that does look like a maker's mark, but it's not got any text on it.
And is there anything
also-
familiar about that? Anything that Wraith could interpret from it?
Nothing from that though, but as I said, it's recognisable as something from Tevinter, but it's not recognisable as, you know, something you'd be familiar with. You just recognise it as the last time you saw one of these things was when you were back in Tevinter.
Okay. Kind of showing the stamp to everybody. Well, it's certainly from Tevinter. This begs questions of people from my homeland maybe being responsible for this in some way, shape, or form.
Of course,
They
it's
were
always the
attacked.
winter.
I'm gonna. I'd like to say, point out that just because something has come from a country doesn't mean that it was bought or used by someone of that country.
Very true. Very
A
true.
dwarf of
Maybe.
culture.
Maybe.
I have law as one of my
Hidden
skills.
for
I'd
a
like to point out.
reason. I found in green.
Yep.
Hidden.
Oh, yeah. So it was hidden away.
Hmm.
So maybe they were looking for it or something.
When Juniper brings you the pile of basically the bag of grain that was full of coins, there's a small fortune here. It's quite a lot of money. Problem is, it's all into Vinter currency, which means it's basically you'll get lots of looks if you're even spending a tenth of this.
I sigh and I say, oh, Jose would have loved this.
Yes, it's quite the hoard. Unusual to find such an amount of currency from Tevinter out here. Doesn't have any purpose.
It's not very useful unless we melt it down and reuse it as something else, though.
Well, I could maybe eventually find use for it, and Wraith kind of tries to take the bag off of Juniper and grabs it and pulls it a little bit.
Juniper is jingling it and poking. Oh God, what's your name, Tom? What's your character's name again?
Rockfist.
Emily Rockfist.
Rockfist.
Gemly Rockfist. There we go.
Gimli Rockfist. Make dagger. Make dagger.
Oh, and then Wraith kind of pulls his hand back, recognizing that that's not something to argue with. Well, yes, of course, as other uses.
Gold sparkle.
Gouge your eyes out.
No sparkle. Snap.
While the murder child is preoccupied, I will take I'll take the statue and I will hold it up to Kenneth and see if there's any other reaction other than like I like flames. Does this look familiar? Do you know anything?
Kenneth just looks at it and just doesn't seem to react at all and just goes, I'm surprised that didn't melt.
What is it?
The bronze statue of some kind of weird
Yes,
cult.
but
Is that right?
Kenneth might know something.
I'm holding
It
up to
is
Kenneth.
It is a statue. He sort of looks at it. It looks. Do any of you have religion?
I do.
Yes.
I think I do.
Yes. Nice.
Wait, do I have religion? No, I don't have
asking.
religion.
But you have 3 points to spare. Well, you have 3 points to spare, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Wraith knows his religion, so we can go on that front.
Yep.
Would you like me to roll?
Yes, please.
If I can copy and paste properly.
19 from me.
15.
One second, I just need to get the name of something just before I forget.
Wait, it's religion intelligence. I've written this down wrong.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, that'll do. Balls, that will not do.
Okay.
Ooh. Nice.
Let's see what we got. Yes. Okay. So, all of you seem. When Kenneth mentions it might have been melted, you look at it all, and Wraith basically recognises it as from Tevinter, and Ruth. Actually, all of you recognise it because you've all rolled high enough. You recognise it's a melted statue of Malarith.
Oh, Andraste's husband. Ooh. So Andraste is like the Virgin Mary, to put it kind of in a way. And Mafarith was her husband, who was basically Judas, who betrayed her at the end to the Tevinter Imperium, and Tevinter burned her at the stake, basically. And she's like the Virgin Mary of the Chantry kind of thing. So she's like the holy lady. So if it's Mathar,
So
okay.
is this like a cult against like a secret cult against the mainline stuff?
Well, there was a schism in the chantry, so Tevinter went one way, and the south, everywhere else, basically went the other way. So the schism was that they had different interpretations of how Andraste died. So the south believes that Tevinter put her to death because she basically toppled the Imperium. And Tevinter's argument is that she was a mage. She wasn't just a regular person; she was a mage, and everything else still happened. But they have like a male divine, which is their pope, and the south has a female divine. So there's like this schism
Called the Pape.
No, they're just called the divine. The one in the Tevinter is called Black Divine, and the one in the south is just called Divine.
Yeah, okay. Can I give this statue a sniff to see if I find the same kind of weird floral stuff? Do you want
There,
me to allow me for it?
I think there doesn't seem to be anything that smells the sort of floral side. No, it does seem to be melted from heat rather than melted from anything else. As in, it seems to have been close enough to the fire to have melted it, rather than close enough to the fire to actually have, properly done much more than. It's only because you realise that it melted a little bit that it makes sense what it actually is.
Alright. Can I then just like kind of poodle around the warehouse to see if I can find similar kind of accelerant that was used in the last house?
Yep.
I just want to see if they're linked, basically.
Yep.
So,
Roll awareness.
awareness. Rolling good today.
Yep. You find several traces of the same sort of kind of oily, floral smelling stuff that you found in previous ones.
Is there more stuff here that I can just pocket for, like, analysis? Because the last thing was tiny.
There seems to be a lot of. It looks like this warehouse must have been quite full when it was set ablaze. So there's lots of melted, like whatever the metal bits were, they're all sort of melted together to sort of large sort of amalgam rather than being separate. So when you look around, you do find a couple more what look like they've been piles of coins that have melted together to create like a large block of several different, semi-valuable metal, stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. Do I find any of I know they were lobbing bombs at this place. Do I find any fragments or something like that? Or is it just that?
You do find little bits of segments of broken glass.
Okay, alright. I'll pocket some of that glass and show it to Rockfist and say, like, do you recognize this maker glass? Do you think, like, it could hold, like, some kind of potion that explodes?
Let's see. Yes. Tom?
Ocean glass bottle. I'm holding some glass to your face and being like, do you think this can hold like some kind of potion that explodes? I think you're muted, Tom.
You're muted, Tom.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. I said, am I rolling alchemy for this?
You are do me awareness check for this. Let's see how it goes.
I'm not very aware.
Alright. You recognise it as something that's used a lot for homebrew in Dwarfish.
Good old fashioned.
Good old moonshine. Is that moonshine? I don't know.
I mean, it sounds more and more likely that it was moonshine.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody is preparing alcohol in the area, then perhaps we would be able to smell their still as we approach it.
Just because he's here, I turn to Kenneth, who's still standing next to Rockfist, and go like, did you watch this fire too?
Yes, it was very pretty.
Did you also see some dwarves throw something at it?
Yes.
Where were they
They
standing?
burned it down and they laughed.
Why?
They started talking about counting payments and how it would be split.
Payments.
Mercenaries of
Right.
some sort.
Did you know which way they went?
They
After
went that way, and he points up the road.
So that's good. Following his finger, just like kind of walking that way.
The thing
Are
is,
these
why
dwarves
was
being
a
paid?
storeroom and several like brothels targeted?
Mm.
In particular, like what links them that makes them both targets?
Are they all under the same kind of like protection ring and they've not paid their debt, maybe?
It seems more like the fact that like this entire city has an incredible amount of mafia business going on, and and the last one, like it doesn't. There's no link other than the fact that the dwarves were involved in both businesses. So our job is just to find. I mean, we can clearly say that Kenneth is 90% innocent.
So
Yes.
far.
A witness, perhaps nothing more, but certainly a useful one. Well, we should. Are you suggesting we return him to the care of the jailer?
No, I think we should find the source of everything and just confirm if Kenneth knows, because Kenneth knows these dwarves, right? Do you,
Yeah,
Kenneth?
he's-
Do you
he's
know what
seen
these
them.
dwarves look like? No?
He does know what they look like, yes.
But yeah, that,
Yes, he's
we
a
have to get
witness.
him to confirm.
I
let's,
suggest we carry on where we're going and
Yeah.
follow his directions, and when we find them, we confront them, and possibly poor Kenneth can get off the hook.
Okay.
And the real culprits be put to jail.
You walk up the hill, and Kenneth goes, "They went in there." And you walk up, and you recognise the slightly charred tavern as the one that the Fabricant run that you saw from a few weeks ago.
Ah,
Oh no. I stand outside and just go, this is. Okay.
I'm just gonna put Ray forward. Well, you were the lawyer.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, I suppose that's some standing with these unusual gentlemen. Well, let's inquire, shall we, and find out if they've potentially hired these dwarves to do what they've done.
We should maybe disguise Kenneth a little. We don't want them recognizing him before we recognize them. Ruth's gonna take off one of his outer layers and kind of like put it over Kenneth and put the hood up.
I'm
Right, don't
already
take that
very
down.
warm, thank you. I don't need another layer.
It's not because you're warm. I'm much colder now, and I begrudge doing this, but for our safety, I let's just hide your face
I see.
a little.
For his safety too.
Wraith pulls his hood down and kind of straightens himself up and tries to pull himself together a bit and put on a professional air of this, I don't know, a lawyer vibe as they enter the building then. Is the Fabricant we met before kind of behind the bar, or what are we?
It's the typical barman that you saw before. It was behind the bar. As you walk in, he goes, "Ah, the lawyer. Hang on, I'll get you some bread." He goes off.
Oh, yes, thank you, of course. Yes, the bread, yes.
Ruth's gonna take the bread out of his hand and put it in one of his pockets.
Okay.
I'll take that later.
So, how can I help? How can I help you today?
At this point, Kenneth just points to a group of dwarves in the corner and goes, "There they are, there."
Thank
Is it
you.
that moment where everyone like kind of pauses? There's like there's a fight to break.
Yeah, that's everything goes silent, and then you just hear, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think you heard me. There are the dwarves, there!" And all these dwarves just slowly just turn around and look at Kenneth and go, like, kind of look of, what the fuck?
A vision of both of the groups slowly turning heads towards each other and locking eyes, like, oh, something's about to happen.
Oh, at this point, the barman goes, "Oh, there's a fight. I'll go get the bucket of water." Walks out the back.
I'm slowly reaching for my axe.
Excuse our friend. He's very excited about meeting other dwarves. He doesn't get a chance to meet any
that often, and
I'm going to shoot you a sharp look. Like,
I like how
Bruh,
Lucas
that is the weakest excuse I've heard ever. I'm right here.
He's meaning Kenneth. He's meaning Kenneth, not you.
No, I know you're meaning Kenneth. I'm holding his chains. He's about this far away from me.
At this point,
Do the dwarves, apart from the what the fuck, do the dwarves do anything other than like reaching for weapons? And
two
stuff?
of them are looking at you with the filthiest looks possible. The other one has still got his back to you. At this point, Kenneth goes, You started the fires. Can you start fires for me? I like watching them. Please
I'm gonna
start
clap him round
fires.
the head.
Just knock him
Just backhand him. Wait, actually, hang on. Before, am I wearing gauntlets? I don't want to kill him. I'm not wearing gauntlets. This is a bare-handed slap.
Okay, you smack him in the back of the head. He kind of crumples to his knees.
Do the dwarves just look like
The dwarves
they're
look at
adults?
Kenneth quite with again this sort of filthy look, and then one of them looks at me and goes, "What are you saying?"
I hold up
He
a
likes
piece of
fireworks. He likes fireworks.
glass. Yeah, I hold up a piece of glass and says, So, do you want to tell us something?
At this point, you hear, "There's no reason to do this, friends. Come on, come on!" And this fabricant appears from behind the bar and goes, "Come on, lawyer, please come sort this out. We don't want any fights in here. We've just paid for the new one. Come on, calm down. Calm everyone down."
At the appearance of this fabricant, Wraith, oh, God, you damn things. Do you know these dwarves over here?
At this point, the fabricant ducks away, comes back with some oddly suddenly appeared very fresh bread and goes, "Here, I got you fresh bread, lawyer. Here, to stop this fight."
Ruth's gonna take the bread, put it back in his pocket.
I take it you don't know these dwarves then, no?
"Oh, no, I've never met them before. Never met them. Nope.
Caught some of that. Your voice is...
Yeah,
Oh,
your
is it
voice
then the
is
thing where it
peaking.
goes too
It's
high
just,
again?
yeah, it's just peeking all over the place.
Discord.
It just doesn't want you to
Gotta
use that
talk
voice.
deep like we can't talk quickly, I understand, okay.
might
Yeah, I
have
know,
to
I
head
don't know them at all, not at all, no,
You've fallen asleep.
Yeah, it looks
Go
like
get some rest. You need to
Oh,
sleep.
honey.
Sleeps
4
is
hours.
important, unless you're pup, in which case they're not. But for everyone else, sleeps are important. Go sleep
Thank you.
and have something to
guys.
drink. A nice glass of
No
water.
problem, honey, go rest up.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Boy.
Let me just turn the overlay off.
Was that a slowdown for everyone?
Sorry?
It's okay. Everyone sort of froze and then.
Right. Because yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the fabricant kind of says he doesn't know any. He says, "I don't know any of these dwarves at all. No, I don't even know why they're drinking here. They've got no reason to drink here. You don't have any reason to drink here, do you, Clive?" And the one of the dwarves just goes, "Fine." They get up and the three of them start slowly begin to start trudging out the door. See, they had no reason to be here.
How
I
did
say.
you know their names?
I don't know their names.
You called him Clive.
Oh, I call everyone Clive. I mean, you could be Clive too if you want. It's a name of
No.
endearment.
Alright.
Isn't that right, Clive?
Just-
He looks at Wraith.
I'm your lawyer. My name is not Clive. We've met before. You know very well it's Wraith.
I look at Wraith and I say, could you ask your client if they had anything to do with the recent spate of fires in this town?
Absolutely. And Wraith
No,
kinda
at least
leaned-
one of them is. I know where one of them came from, but that's Tom who knows. I don't know it. I don't know. My character doesn't know anything about these
No.
guys.
trying to have a certain amount of discretion, then Wraith leans in towards the fabricant and says, confidentially, between your lawyer and my client, obviously, you do know these men, of course, yes?
Are we talking like really confidential? Isn't just me and you?
And he leans in a little bit closer. Of course.
Oh well,
I'm
yeah.
going to-
We do know them. They were paid by Simpkins. He was the one that came in and wanted them all to bump down his burned down his warehouse and his whorehouses so he could claim the money back. But let's not talk about it because people might know.
No, of course.
So,
Well,
we don't know them at all. Don't know them at all. He leans back and starts enthusiastically saying he doesn't know anything about them.
I've been as soon as the whole "let's talk confidential" thing kicked up, I turned and loudly started discussing the weather with Kabaj.
It's been terrible.
Look, I may be a bit rough around the edges, but privacy, it's important.
Yeah.
There's not much privacy down in the mines, all right? You learn to respect each other's.
I already like Rockfist because, again, dwarf of culture. It's like, do you know someone called Dave Featherbeard?
Can't say I do. Can't say I do.
Does it sound like a made-up dwarf name? Like, what kind of name is Dave?
Is he a paragon? Is he a
Dave,
paragon
well,
in the
yeah.
underground?
Dave, Dave Featherbeard, it could be a dwarven name. I mean, probably more someone who's integrated with the upside world. But, it's Featherbeard, I suppose, if it's some kind of animal tamer, perhaps. I'm not sure, but it could well be a dwarven name. I've never heard of anyone called Dave or Featherbeard, but...
Suddenly, I have forgotten all about the quest we were on, and I'm very interested in finding out because in my head, in Kabaj's head, and also in Shiraz's head, it's like a very curly, flamboyant beard that like flips out in all directions. It's like...
Beautiful and glossy as well.
Yeah. Like, those Tresemme ads with the hair that just spirals out in all directions, but in a beard form.
A flowing beard, as it were. If the breeze caught it, it would
it would just
be
like...
taken by it.
Maybe he's born with it, maybe he's just a dwarf cold.
Dave Featherbeard. Maybe he's
then.
forming it. Maybe he's Featherbeard.
Exactly what I was doing.
Kind of leaning back then from the fabricant. Thank you very much, and I'll leave you to your business, of course, and discretion is the best part of valor. You can rely on me. And he gives a nod.
No
and
problem.
walks back
I mean,
over
we don't know anyone about this, do we? And he would wink, but because he's a fabricant, doesn't have blinking eyes. He sort of
So he
wobbles
just
one eye
waggles
up and
his
down. Yeah.
wobble eyes around crazily.
Yeah.
Wraith gives him a wink back and a nod and steps back over to the ongoing conversation regarding Dave Featherbeard.
Yeah, and you just hear like, I think Dave's an artist. And that's what it ends.
And Ruth's just like standing there sighing, just going, no, he's like kind of munching on the bread and just sighing. He's like, right, shall we,
So that means our friend here is innocent. If a little bit focused on fire.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And, well, I think we should be making our way now. And making a bit of an act of it, leading everybody out. Thank you very much for the bread. Very, very nice of you. I shall be back for more of that at some point. If you ever need more lawyering services, you know where to find me.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm
That's
gonna
good
say,
to know.
you're a lawyer? You don't look like a lawyer.
Oh
It's,
yeah, you gotta keep your lawyer in bread. We've been told this
It's
is
an
an
ongoing
important
profession.
thing.
He's
Sort of like a
working.
career. Sort of like a career change.
He's doing it as extra study. He's a mature student.
I shut the door as we leave, and then I immediately, like, as quietly as possible, go, are we turning in Simpkins?
Well, there is this Simpkins man that has apparently committed some sort of insurance fraud. It sounds like that's the root of all of this.
Insurance fraud?
Yes, he's requested to burn down his own properties to get some kind of payment from it.
Yes, in sewer ants.
Serious business.
Sounds-
Insurance fraud. Serious business. You don't mess with the laws.
Are the dwarves still within sight as we've stepped outside?
No, they did kind of. They're not an immediate sight. No.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I interject and I go, well, our main concern was to find out if Kenneth was innocent or not. Yeah,
Indeed.
we've done that. I mean, I'd say within a shadow of a doubt, he is not responsible for the fires. He's just...
He's like one of them little little bug things. What flies towards candles?
Yeah,
Moths.
she's a moth.
Moth to a flame.
Moth
Yeah.
to flame. That's it. There you go. He's like a moth to a flame.
Yeah.
I
And
Don't blame the moth for the candle.
I don't think the jail is going to believe us on our word, so we might need some evidence to back us up.
do you think we should just go to Simpkins and like threaten?
Well, we
At
could
this point, I'm assuming Juniper is busy and isn't hearing. the
Juniper
word
seems to have
threaten.
disappeared for this stage, but you know Juniper just disappears every randomly and reappears in time.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, she's not around here. We won't murder him. We will threaten him.
Are
With
you
the
sure?
truth. With the truth. Let's try. Was I there the last time when the cleaver incident happened? Was I in the background or was I doing something else?
I think you were. I don't think you were there for that incident. I think
If I'm caught up, if I'm caught up, I will just say like, yeah, we don't want a repeat of the cleaver incident.
He was attacking us. It was self-defense.
Look, we've all made mistakes. I remember a halberd at some point, and then there were knives.
How? How exactly is defending oneself with a cleaver not a mistake?
Alright, but like, we could threaten this Simpkins man, and that would be proof enough, wouldn't it? If he confessed.
I'm very sure our dwarf friend can handle that situation quite well.
Yeah, I agree.
Bring him in for questioning. That's what we do.
Yeah,
Easy.
Okay. And if Jenkins is here, I was like, you know somebody called Simpkins? Jenkins. It's like in your book of like businesses that you have a Rolodex of like businesses.
Oh, the Rolodex.
So we keeping weirdo over here in chains, or are we letting him loose, or what?
I suggest we keep him chained for now.
That is quite an
because
offensive remark, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, you know, they're reasonable quality chains. You know,
have
it's
no
not
feelings.
terrible
How can you feel
workmanship.
offended?
Oh, I'm not, but I've learned that people can get offended over the smallest things, so I have to assume offense. This is what my master told me.
He is a pretty
Who
smart
was your
weirdo.
master, by the way, Kenneth?
Oh, my master is a mage. He
By
used to
the
live in
name
the
of-
lighthouse, but I got sent away after I became tranquil.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm gonna look
afraid-
around. I'm like, you three know something.
Yeah.
That is a sound. I may not be, you know, the most aware person. Something has happened.
Unfortunately, we found your master's corpse when we went to go fetch him. I'm afraid he's dead.
What a shame.
Yeah, it's a terrible tragedy, of course.
Well, he fell down the stairs, so I don't know. Accident.
I always
happened,
knew
I
the
suppose.
stairs would be the death of him.
Oh, at least you tried to warn him.
Yes.
What? So what have you been doing since he sent you away? I'm gonna be talking to him while we're like walking,
Staring at
following the
fire.
dwarves.
Do you
How
have
have
any
you been-
other hobbies?
I like
where have you
fire.
been? Where have
Do you
you
like
been
anything
staying?
else?
I just sleep where I lie. What is the point in paying when you can just sleep on the ground?
Oh dear.
Yeah, we could sort Kenneth out later, but maybe the wardens.
We can. He looks pretty
Yeah.
far gone.
He's very. If he's quite skilled with enchantments, the wardens could possibly use it. That way, they can keep him out of trouble as well from fires. But we don't want to release him just yet because we haven't fully proven his innocence, and I'd rather.
I
leave it
thought
to that.
I thought it was a proven innocent until proven guilty. I didn't realise it was the other way around in the upsides.
It's a
I mean,
difficult
there's no
question
evidence
to
either
answer
way,
at this
so-
point. The things we've seen in this town since we got here changes your perspective a little bit.
Huh. I see. I don't know if calling it as an aside. I don't know if calling it the upsides is
It's the surface.
the surface. There you go. Just hang on. Just copy and paste surface into whenever I've said upsides.
We'll fix it in editing.
So it's funny. It's funny actually.
Surface. Surface. Surface.
Surface or top side?
Top side. Upside. Top side.
Nine.
Top side. Top side. Top side. There we go. That should be enough, right?
Has Jenkins led us to the point of where Mr. Simpkins lives?
If you asked him to, then yes, he takes you towards some, and he goes, this is it here. Yep, totally here. Yep. It's quite a sort of large building. It looks like one of the most fanciest buildings in town.
Damn.
Seems to be a wealthy businessman of some sort.
All
Well,
that
if you're
insurance
pub-
fraud pays off.
Yeah, I was about to say. I wonder how many times he's done this.
If you're gonna go in, I'm gonna leave. I don't like this man, and he doesn't like me.
Why?
I may have thrown water over him.
Well,
Seems to be a habit of yours.
Well, I
is he
just don't like fires, and he had this big pipe in his mouth, and I thought it was a fire, but it wasn't.
Ah, yes. Do you happen to know if he's a mage at all, or?
I don't think so. He likes his finery suits with the sort of little jacket inside the jacket.
it's okay, Jenkins.
Okay.
You've helped a lot today, so
Yes, he's
Sure,
been
sure.
most.
Do you
Must have
need
fun.
me to take him away? And he points at Kenneth.
actually we should now. We should.
Yeah, so maybe for the best for now for him to return to the safety of that cell.
Yeah.
All
See
right,
you later.
Hand him the chains. Unless.
all right. Come on, friend. Let's go home. I don't like you, dwarf. That's fine. Let's just keep going. So the two of them wander off into the distance. What are the four of you doing now?
I really hope that he's not gonna get talked out of like letting go of that duty. I can just see it.
I'm just gonna go up. I think like before we go up and knock on the door, I'm just gonna be like, okay, so we know enough about what's happened and we know how they're connected. The thing is trying to get a confession out of this person. We can't record it.
Perhaps we appeal as insurance brokers,
Yeah, alright.
and that way we can say that we are here to facilitate the paperwork for his claim, and we need him to write down every detail.
I have just the idea. I pull out a piece of paper from my book and immediately start writing down a confession letter.
Ruth will help with like language and like technical terms because I've got literacy as well. If Pete wants us to roll, do you want us to roll?
If Shiraz wants to roll, you get a +3 from chat.
Oh, nice.
So do a literacy roll with an extra +3.
Is literacy intelligence?
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Intelligence.
Yeah. Ooh,
Do I
10
also
from me.
roll, or
Yes,
is this like
this
just
is
one?
for Shiraz to roll.
Oh,
Yes.
and +3 as well.
And +3 as well. So yes, Vincenzo creates a fantastic confessional letter which has so many back and forth clauses in it that it's basically airtight.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, basically that's what.
You,
and then like
you got 28. You got a natural 20 and 28.
yeah, and then I like find some like kind of string that I may have on me and just kind of tie it around nice and tight and give it to both of you, and I say that if Mr. Rockfist doesn't mind, we'll just act as the enforcers because you guys have got this. Just get him to sign that.
Rafe is the fancy one, fanciest looking up. He's already very good at playing a lawyer. I suggest he do this, and we can be assistants,
Yeah, sure, that makes
I
sense.
suppose.
Yeah, that
Yes,
makes
of
sense.
course. I would need guards on the road. It makes sense. Well, I suppose. And he again straightens up, kind of gets into lawyer mode. Right. Well, let's do this. And gives a bony rap on the door again.
Okay. It's a couple of minutes later. It's answered by looks like a very old-looking butler. Who leans in and goes, "Yes."
good day, sir. I'm from the insurers for your master's property. We're here to finalize some of the legal documents with regards to his payout.
Oh, I see. Come through then. He sort of leads you through to a quite elaborate dining room.
Might I inquire, do you have any bread?
Are you a lawyer, sir?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'll make sure Chef brings you some bread then.
Thank you.
What is with this universe and bread with for lawyers?
No,
Is this a real? Is this an actual thing?
This is not a thing.
Dragon Age?
It's the Nikolai thing.
It's like it's
The Nikolai thing. This is
also
not
very much
canon
Wraith.
or lore.
Wraith is trying to sell the role of it, like he's entered and asked for bread. This is legitimate lawyering right here.
Yep. Yep.
You know, the true lawyers ask for their bread.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take.
You can tell
I'm
a
gonna
lawyer.
also take the bread once it arrives because that's now I have 3 things of bread.
Okay.
it's a nice focaccia.
Ooh, posh bread.
This is
Bread.
as a couple of minutes later, we're sort of all sitting around this table, and he asks you to lay things out. He comes back a couple of minutes later with this large tray of bread, of various nicely cooked bread items. Puts them down
Thank
next
you
to
very
you.
much.
That's
Nicer than what I've been treated to locally so far.
Ruth's gonna turn to Wraith and just be like,
Which would you prefer me to carry, sir?
Well, we could simply take some of this for the road, and he pockets a little bit and bites a little bit and offers a few out to everybody else. Oh, thank you for bringing enough for my retinue here. It's very kind of you. Could you call upon your master?
He is on his way, sir. He has informed me to make sure the lawyer is always kept in bread. Let me know if you need more. He just wanders off.
How? What, are there any?
Okay, I have a question. Is the seal of lawyers just 2 baguettes like crossed over on like a shield?
Yeah, with a croissant at the top.
With a croissant at the top, just going like, in bread we trust.
God, I really want now to see
In
some
bread we
artwork of like in bread with crust.
Yeah, the upper crust.
Oh my god, there's so many. I really now want to see like a whole shield where it's all bread. You know how you can make like mosaics out of random items, but it's all bread.
But more importantly than anything, it's baked. The shield isn't like an item; it has to be bread itself.
They make a new one every single week at the local lawyers association.
I just never want to see a bakery in this place because clearly it's a mint, like for lawyers.
So as you're sitting a couple of minutes later, a man in an obvious finery comes down. He is wearing a waistcoat underneath his sort of lounge jacket, and he comes in and goes, "Hello there. Yes, I hear you're here to sort about my insurance payments. That's great. Well, I hope you've had yourself your bread and you're ready to start." He sits down, just crosses his hands like this.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. Well, very hospitable of you. Good that you know protocol. Well, let's get to it, shall we? And,
I haven't had any of the bread, incidentally. I've been chewing on my concrete jerky really loudly. Crunch, crunch, crunch. This whole time.
"Alright, Ruth's got plenty in his robes."
That stuff's too soft.
Full of
for me,
bread.
you know.
When the document is handed over, I will make a big show of taking it from Wraith and giving it to this guy, like just to make it extra fun.
What is this? This is very complicated. It starts with the word "I confess." What is all this?
Well, don't worry about that. It simply leads on to say that you confess that you have put insurance on your buildings and that you have confessed to the fact that there has been an act of vandalism against them. I understand it's unusual terminology, but it's such is the way of us lawyers.
I blame that Dave Featherbeard who seems to have keep graffitiing all my buildings before they catch fire. Horrible man.
I want to ask so many questions, but I can't because we're just the help.
Yeah, we can't ask any questions.
Good reference to this Dave Featherbeard. You know the man.
Only in passing, you know. I've seen his graffiti. I mean, nobody draws a Well, like Dave Featherbeard.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna smirk in my corner.
Well, I shouldn't want to extend this too long. It's simply formalities. If you simply sign on the dotted line at the end of the document there.
As he gets, let's just see. We'll just check. Does anything happen? Yes. As he's getting through and he's reading, goes, oh, interesting. And at this point, you hear a knock, and the butler comes a minute later and says, "Sir, I don't want to bother you, but another lawyer's just arrived."
Oh, that will be our colleague. Let me just go out and deal
Yes,
with
you
Royal.
so go and attend to.
I apologize for the interruption.
Yes, he's running a little bit late. He was here to sort of dot the I's and cross the T's, but we can catch him outside. If you simply sign there, we'll meet him out there, and yes, you'll get your payment soon enough.
If you need time to talk, I don't mind waiting. I would love to read here.
Well, my companions, my assistant here can attend to that. If there's anything you need explained, simply point to the line and I will break it down for you.
At this point, there's a very angry sound in the hall, and a couple of seconds later, Ruth and this quite red-faced old elf has appeared, going, what is going on here? I'm meant to be here. Someone's here in my place and eating my bread.
I'm afraid you've been our letter didn't reach you in time. We were supposed to meet tomorrow, but it's obvious that you got here a day early.
I'd like to wander up
tomorrow.
Oh, hello, Mr.
like to wander up
Timkins. I thought you got some new people in. I've never seen these people before. I don't hire any people like this. I'd never hire him.
I'm gonna stride up to. I say stride. I don't have the legs. I don't have the legs to stride, really.
Yeah, but a dwarfish stride is still a stride.
Dwarf stride is still a normal step.
It's more like a rugby charge, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stride up to him and say, oh, actually no. If I say that, that's gonna make things infinitely worse. Balls. I've strode up to him and I'm standing there and I'm
just sort of.
I'm afraid we were told you were ill. That's why they sent us. And Ruth's just gonna
Who
take
sent
him
you?
by the arm.
Who sent you? I run my own law
Marvin
firm.
sent us.
Marvin!
Can I walk up to this guy and with the ring that I have, can I stun him?
I was gonna do that. Ruth was gonna do that as well.
I'm just gonna walk over and like kind of put my hand on his shoulder next to like his neck and just stun. It's like
As this
roll
hubbub
to see
is
how it
going
works.
I'll just throw in that as the hubbub is going on, Wraith has turned away with the paper in hand and is trying to get the other guy's like eyes off of what's happening now. Well, if you just look at the terms here, of course, you'll be able to see that the payment's rather large.
There's a loud shriek, and Mr. Timkins falls to the ground and starts shuddering.
oh no,
Oh my
he's
goodness.
so sick.
I'm going to turn to the butler and in a stage whisper, so as not to disturb the proceedings going on at the table, say, "Get this man. I want you to get this man some water. He's got a very high disposition. Go on, get him some water quick, and tell us where we can put him on a chair or something."
Okay, the butler looks at you, just blinks and goes, I don't think that's appropriate, sir. And he just turns and goes, Mr. Simpkins, I do believe that there's some foul play afoot.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Come on, we were so close.
Can Ruth try and stun the butler, please? Just gonna place my hand on the butler's arm and
Just like blow.
oh no!
Natural one! Oh god, what
That's a
happened?
natural one.
What happens?
Did you?
Does it kill him?
Three. No, I can't.
Do I
I
stun
can't.
myself?
I don't think it will have killed, but let's see. Why is it in? I need to move it to the other tab.
I really hope I haven't killed the butler.
He is old. He might have a heart
It was,
condition.
What is the arm?
It was Ruth in the foyer with the lightning.
Give me a minute. I need to work out how to do this. how world comes together to do this.
Does she vaporize?
No. I have a way of doing this. Ruth grabs the butler by the arm and gently pulls to pull him back. The arm comes off in her arm. The arm comes off in her hand completely, and Ruth starts shrieking as this arm has suddenly appeared in her hand. The butler looks confusion, and then you realise it's a fake arm, but Ruth is still screaming that this holding this fake arm in his hand.
I'm gonna yank it off her and say, "Don't be so rude. It's just a man's arm, and I'm gonna hand it back to Bella. Sorry about her.
Could you please not remove my arm like that? It's very disconcerting to everyone else around when I've got to reconnect it.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to gently take you to the side and
I'm gonna sort of wave you away and be like, ignore her. She's
Hey!
Oh yeah, man, I've completely forgotten.
At this point, Vincenzo is already halfway out the door with the body. Just looking confused.
So this idea of Vincenzo dragging this body out.
You're taking him to get some water and a sit down.
Just
chair.
Yeah.
Taking him down on the couch somewhere.
I'm assuming that in all this chaos, they haven't even noticed me, but the body's gone. It's just like I've got him like.
At this point, so he goes, what are you doing to my butler? Sorry. What are you doing to my butler?
I'm terribly sorry. I merely wanted to have a quiet chat with him, and I pulled his arm.
He lost it in a duel a few years ago. He got it cut off by a saber.
Is he still? Am I still holding it, or is he taking it back?
He's taking it back, but he's doing that kind of like, I'm wearing my suit. I can't put my arm back on while I'm wearing my suit.
I'm gonna say.
Excuse me for a moment, sir. I need to go and reattach my arm.
I'm going to compliment him on the quality of the craftsmanship in the arm. Barely tell it wasn't with there. Barely tell.
Meanwhile, outside in a hedge, there is a body of
Outside in a hedge, there is a dishevelled-looking elf.
So what I've done is, if there is a hedge, I've just pushed him over it and then forgotten about it as if it's not my problem anymore.
I'd like to point out that when that elf recovers, they are going to realise that this confessional letter is a load of bollocks, right? You do know this.
Yeah, but then you'll be
We're
arrested by
gonna have
then.
the letter. We're gonna have the letter. There's no copy of this letter.
At
We
this,
don't know if they're a corrupt insurer as well. That they might be there for legitimate purposes as far as they're concerned.
And to be honest, I'm never gonna run into any insurance people ever again. That's what Dad taught me. It was just a bunch of crooks.
So
Wraith, trying to get Simpkins' attention, then says, "Oh, you'll have to excuse my senior partner there. He's becoming rather forgetful in his older age. He sometimes forgets that I even work for him. Would you believe it?"
Mr. Tompkins has been my lawyer for a long time. It's been ever since I was a child. He looked after my father's stuff. It's intriguing that he's lost his mind. I mean, after this, the biggest deal we've ever done, yes, but back to the question. What's happening with the ship?
The ship? Well, of course, it's all going according to plan with the ship.
You've sold everything aboard it, yes? So I have nothing to worry about?
No, of course, and I wouldn't be asking you to sign here otherwise. And he proffers the paper again.
And that's all in this contract, yes? All the stuff with the ship. I have no legal worries about the ship. It's all taken care of, and it's all in here, yes?
Certainly, I mean...
Oh, wonderful. He takes signs it immediately, goes, there you go. Oh, that's a weight off my mind.
Oh, thank you so much. This was meant to be a simple affair. I really cannot apologize enough for what's happened here. We'll make our way now. Thank you very much for the bread.
Don't worry about it. Just make sure when that ship gets into port, you reinforce that there's nothing to do with me anymore. And he just gets up and wanders back up. Help yourself to more bread and see yourself out.
Thank you very much. Good day to you, sir.
Outside, Vincenzo is stress smoking.
Wraith kind of gets up away from the table and hurriedly kind of looks at Rockfist and Ruth like,
Let's go.
yes, thank you very much. And yeah, they kind of wander outside to meet Vincenzo. What did you do with him, Vincenzo? Where's the lawyer?
I just point to the hedge and I'm like,
Perfect. Let's go.
Oh, we can't leave him there. That could will be implicated. The man.
no, we
Fine,
can't we can't kill him.
But what? We take him to the Fabricant Tavern and ask him to look after him for a little while.
Makes
Give
sense. Mr. Rockfist, if you would please help me. He's like,
I'm gonna just sort of give you a sideways look and then just like hoik the lawyer up over my shoulder, like fireman's carry, is it?
yeah.
Yeah, fireman's
Yeah.
lift, yeah.
His toes and potentially head may be occasionally clocked on a large
All right,
cobblestone or whatever.
Ruth's gonna pick up his head, so he's not exactly gonna get concussed.
I'm strong, but you know the height thing.
I'm
Ruth-
just
Ruth can
gonna keep
understand.
an eye out. I'm just gonna keep an eye out for any witnesses because you
At
know,
this,
as
at
Dad
this
told
point,
me,
several small bread products roll out of his pockets.
Well, yeah, it's a
Ruth's gonna
he
pick
is a
them up,
lawyer.
put them in his
Oh,
pocket.
no. It's a breadcrumb trail. I picked them up. It's like
He is a lawyer, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe we could also put little bit of beer around down his chin as well, just
just like him.
just you know, for a more convincing performance.
Okay. So you return to the Fabricant Tavern, and as you walk in the door, you hear a, what's he doing here?
Too pikey.
We'd like
Drop the
you to
volume.
look after him for a little bit.
But that's Mr. Tompkins,
And
like renowned lawyer, Mr.
No.
Sorry, let's
You're
cut that again.
peeking so bad,
Like
mate.
renowned lawyer, Mr. Tompkins. Like known by
We lost,
everyone in
like, the
town,
90%.
Mr. Tompkins.
Stop talking in that voice, please. We can't hear you at all.
The voice. I love the voice, but like you need to
Oh.
translate
Yeah.
the fabricant to us.
Okay, Fabricant to you is that's Mr. Tompkins, like town renowned Mr. Tompkins.
yes, we just need you to look after him for a little while.
Maybe like a day.
Hmm.
You know?
Well, so he sort of looks very confused and goes, Can I not just pay someone to take him away from here as well?
Yeah, you can do that if you like.
Okay, Jim, get out here and move him. And the small, like very thin-looking elf appears and starts dragging Mr. Tompkins out by the ankle.
Is this entire town just like cheating each other? Like are they just
Probably.
like kind of?
I think
Is
so.
there like one barrel of fish being sold between all of them?
Not so much a seedy underbelly, just it's all just horrible.
Does Wraith tell us about the shipment?
Yeah. Now that we've gotten this guy off our hands, Wraith kind of leans in and goes, the Simpkins was talking about some kind of ship and being implicated in something. I think we should probably tell the local authorities that there may be something coming into port that's untoward in some way, shape, or form.
It probably wouldn't be in Simpkins' name, it'd be in the lawyer's name because he trusted the lawyers to do it.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we can implicate them as well. Well,
We discredit the lawyer so that
Yeah.
he can never blame us for me stunning him.
yes.
That sounds good. It's
So-
like,
Well,
Shall
hopefully
we
he didn't
go
get a
in?
good look at all of us.
Yes. Not quick enough, anyway.
Hmm.
We hope. Shall we go and clear Kenneth's name then?
yes.
Yes, I think we have all the information we need to be able to bring this to a close.
Okay. So
That's to
you
be the least non-violent thing we've done.
I'm surprised no one has died.
so you go back and speak to Yevon. Yevon's like, right. So what have you learned? What do I need to do with this arsonist?
Okay.
Well, he's no arsonist at all. The Tranquil that you're keeping here, he's simply a witness to what's gone on. You're aware of Simpkins, a local trader.
Oh, aye, he's got. Funny you mentioned that. He's just had this. We've had to impound his ship just outside the port. It's got some weird shit going on about it.
Oh,
Yeah, I would say that's good.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. We've had some interaction with Simpkins, and we've reason to believe that he has hired local dwarves to destroy his own property in the name of insurance fraud.
I see. Well,
his lawyer, Mr. Tompkins, appears to be implicated as well, and there was talk of...
We got a letter from him, and he ruffles through his pockets and pulls one out. Aye, here it is. It says, "Please do not bother my client," signed Mr. Tompkins.
Yes.
Well, we should take no heed of that.
We have a letter as well.
Oh, good. Well, maybe we should go find out what's on that ship of his.
Yeah. Do we hand the letter over to?
Well, we will take it from there next week, because next week you'll probably go and see what's on this ship. So yes, before we end, does anyone have anything else to wish to add before we stop?
Now, Wraith is the only good lawyer.
Yeah.
He's slowly falling into this role, whether he likes it or not. It's just like
we are going to be rolling in so much bread.
Yeah.
We're never gonna go hungry this entire campaign.
Ruth's cloaks are just full of bread.
Bread and apples, because he's still got half a crate of apples like stashed about himself and in his satchel and
theoretically, no arrow should be able to harm you. Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Robe at this point, like there's going to be like weird over spits and stuff.
But he has multiple robes on because he's like so cold all the time. So he's like
bread is
multiple
warm.
layers. It's all, yeah. He's got like
bread.
I
love the addition of Dave Featherbeard, who came up with that.
It was Klepto. Klepto came up with the name, and now we've now got a vigilante erotic graffitist.
Wraith becomes a lawyer and Ruth opens a second-hand bakery.
I mean, I don't know what direction you thought this entire game was gonna go in, but suddenly it's become like CSI Port Town City.
That's kind of normal. I mean,
The normal way that
Amy will tell you
Penance claims go.
us turning into a CSI game there's nothing abnormal.
I mean, we started with CSI Barovia.
Yes, CSI Barovia.
Wait until we find out the real enemy all along. Capitalism.
Dun dun dun.
All right. Well, unless anyone has anything else to add, we will just quickly run through the end things. So, first of all, we do have affiliate sponsors for D and Dice and Gemhammer Gaming. If you want some fantastic dice, including amazing metal gaming dice, dndice.co.uk will do 10% off when you put Penance RPG in checkout. Gemhammer do things like they do the Deck of Many Things, Deck of Wonders. I usually try and get them to hand, but they're up there, too far away for me to look at. But we have done things with that. If you watch a series called Dark, where we basically just drew random cards from the deck of stuff and that just changed weird shit around, it was great fun. Those good things are fantastic. Again, Penance RPG checkout gets you 20% off, I think, if I remember right. Third thing is just to plug everyone else here. So plug Shiraz does fantastic artwork over at is it Dice Deeds Art?
It's Dice Deeds Art, yes.
Yeah, Dice Deeds Art on Twitter. So yeah, fantastic art. If you ever need anything commissions, are you doing commissions or anything at the moment?
Yeah, I'm taking out commissions.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want anything fast and done, he does amazing art, genuinely amazing art over there. Eden at the top there does Clone Hero streams over at Monkey Magic Eden. Tom, the top there, does co-op games with me during the week. Usually he does it on Tuesdays and Fridays. We do Baratron on Tuesdays, we do Deep Rock on Fridays.
It's true, we do.
I've got the rest of the schedule for this week. You should have the last and tomorrow as your D&D stream on this channel, which Amy is a part of. Tuesday we'll be doing Baratron, which is me and Tom, and then afterwards we'll be doing some indie horror. Wednesday, me and Belry are back to do more Bloodborne. As long as his internet doesn't die, we don't have to put it in 15 different parts on the Twitch. Just what happened this week. Thursday will be indie horror. I'll be a bit late this week because I am out seeing Mr. Muzz for the first time in like months. So after that, I'll be back. I'll probably be playing that True Fear game, but we'll work on that later. Friday's Deep Rock. After that's Bobos and Phasmo. Saturday's off, and then Sunday we're back to doing this again. So yes, that's our full week. That's everyone here. Everyone here is also fantastic if you haven't checked them out. So as I said, fantastic artist, fantastic Clone Hero player, fantastic D&D'er, and Tom. So
Tom.
Tom's fantastic in Rocket Stone.
You owe Tom bread now.
I will. I'll send Tom some bread for that.
I'm no lawyer. Don't you try and pay me for bread. I'm not a lawyer.
So
It's not a payment, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's like...
Oh,
So-
I'm being attacked by a dog.
we will roll into Mr. Com because Mr. Com is on, and I think we've rolled into everyone else that's on recently. So we've not rolled into Com for a while. Com is a fantastic gamer. He is a Canadian that does weird challenge type things, and he's just fucking crazy. The guy's fucking amazing. So roll into him, see how he does. But yeah, thank you very much, folks. We'll be back as I said. We'll be back soon with more stuff, but until then, you all take care. Have a fantastic couple of days, and good night. Waving till I find the.
Why now?